In paradise, bad still happens. First Insurance protects your auto, home, and business with great coverage, rates, and service. Ask your agent for a quote from First Insurance.
One of the things that really surprised me when I took the class was that if you didn't have your license, you get a waiver and you can go down to the DMV. Talk a little about that.
Provided you have the motorcycle permit issued by the state of Hawaii when you come to the class and complete the course, we give the students the waiver, which waives them from taking the skills test at the DMV. So we administer the skills test, which is equivalent to the skills test at the DMV for motorcycle.
What are the requirements to take the class?
All you need is a motorcycle permit and safety gear, and that's it. Minors under the age of 18 need their parents to fill out a waiver form, but basically anybody can come to the school, and the only requirement is the safety gear, which we provide most of it, and the other thing you need is the permit.
Talk a little about the safety gear.
Safety gear, what's required from the school is long sleeve shirt minimum. We don't recommend using anything heavy like a motorcycle, a leather jacket anyway, but keep in mind also that it is for safety, so you don't, although I would never use this to ride on the street, this is acceptable to ride in a parking lot, which is what we do at the school.
What happens when it rains?
When it rains, we ride throughout the rain. Since I've been at the school, we have never stopped the class because of weather. I think there was one time there was lightning, brief lightning. At that point, that would be the only reason we would stop the class if we see lightning. Sure, I mean, what better place to learn to ride in the rain? But a motorcycle school is a controlled area, and face it, you're going to be caught in the rain at some point, and it's good to know how to ride in the rain by riding in the rain previously.
Talk a little, if you can, about some people who just don't have it.
Well, the way I look at it is the completion or the success rate at the school is very high. I would say 1 in maybe 50 students or more, maybe 1 in 75 students. Some people, they learn to ride right away after, with no previous riding experience, come to the school and learn to ride within minutes of riding. Some people need more repetition, so they gotta go a little bit more time before they learn. And some people can't, they just can't ride. So I would say 1 in maybe 75 people can ride. And for me, from my experience, 100% of the time is because they can't balance.
You graduate about 22 people every week.
Well, there's 22 in one class. Usually there's an afternoon class also, so I would say on the average 45 students per weekend. During the summer vacations and Christmas breaks and spring breaks, there's also 2 classes during the day, so that's another 40 students during the week at the school here.
There must be some with just natural talent.
Yeah, I would say 1 in maybe every 2 classes, which is about 1 in maybe 45 students will come in with no prior riding experience, come to the school, and within an hour or even less sometimes get on a motorcycle, and nobody would be able to tell that they just started riding.
It's got to make you feel good.
Makes them feel good too. You see that smile on their face, and you can tell which people are natural. Yeah. And it starts with paying attention and following directions. When they do that, it's almost automatic. For most people, like I said, 1 in that 50, they really stand out.
I noticed the motorcycles that you use in BRC1 are primarily the smaller 250s. Is that mandated by any?
As far as I know, no. But from what I see, as far as the Motorcycle Safety Foundation as a whole on the mainland, it's typical of the bikes they use. I've never seen anything more than a 250 or 300 motorcycle in any of the courses. So as far as I know, it's pretty typical.
Is that because of the cost or just in consideration of the rider?
I think it's more towards the rider. Cost maybe is a factor a little, but I would think more of the inexperienced rider or the beginner rider would be, naturally.
Hey, your cab's here.
Must be lost, huh?
He's here for the basic taxi course. Other than the balancing portion, what do the beginning students generally have the most trouble with?
Well, first of all is the balance. Once they get the balance, some of them, like today in particular, have trouble starting off. It's like we all started to drive a manual transmission car or truck when we always stall out. And it's typical of some students, you know, sometimes after the 2 days, they still stall out. But, you know, I don't stress it too much because at some point you're gonna learn how to take off, especially when you're on the street riding. So to me, it comes naturally after practice like anything. But other than that, I see usually it's the starting off and stopping also. Some people, when they stop, they stop, and because, you know, we always say to look where you're going and don't look down. When you look down, that's when the people have a hard time, especially when they're stopping. When you look down like that, the motorcycle tends to come down also. So basically the problems that they have. Maneuvering is another one, but maneuvering is also something that you have to practice. Like we just talked about, some people, they get on the motorcycle and they are able to maneuver the motorcycle also at the same time. On the other hand, I've had students come in saying they've been riding 10, 20, even 30 years, and you get them on a little bike, 250 bike, and they can't maneuver the motorcycle at all. They can ride straight, but they can't maneuver the motorcycle. So like with anything else, you have to practice.
What percentage of the beginning rider course is taken by women?
I would say like this weekend we have 4 ladies in the class, and I would say that's about average. 4 in 23 or 22 students, ladies.
Are there any considerations in teaching a woman as opposed to a man?
Same thing.
Same.
One thing I want to add, sometimes there's only one girl or one lady, and I always ask, are you intimidated by being the only woman in the class? And 9 times out of 10 they say no. So I think that's the problem if they're intimidated. But most women, they come in and, you know, just one of the guys. And that's the way we treat it. We're all equal. And by the way, we did have, I know there's 2 on the outer islands, 1 or 2 female instructors, but at the moment here at the Leeward Community College, we don't have any female instructors. We did at some point have 2 or 3 one time or another, but we don't have any at this time. Oh, I'm sorry, we do have one female instructor, I'm sorry. But she mainly does the military courses.
And there's a deduction on insurance when you, I didn't know that.
As far as I know, when I took the course some years ago, it was 10% off, and I have State Farm insurance. I've heard of some companies, I don't know which one, some students tell me they had 15 or even 20% off their insurance. And that's another reason why a lot of experienced riders take the BRC too, to get that motorcycle discount, the safety course discount, and they'll recognize it. As far as I know, all insurance companies recognize that.
Now personally, I'm asking you personally, I know you can't represent Leeward Community College on every front, but would you say that this course should be mandatory?
I think so. The value of it, even for experienced riders, from the input that I've been getting from experienced riders that come to the class, they come after the class and they come up to me and tell me, hey, you know what? I've been riding 25 years, man. There's some things I didn't even know, man. And just to give you an idea, after the first day, I went home and I rode, and man, I applied some of the stuff that I learned, and wow, what a difference. And you know, it's kind of rewarding when people tell you that, and it's a pretty good thing. But also, this will never happen, but it would be helpful if car drivers took it to some kind of course to recognize motorcycles. Because honestly speaking, when I started riding a motorcycle, I became a better car driver because I'm more aware now.
I noticed when I took the class that you did something that I think a lot of people enjoy motorcycling for, and that's, it's fun. And you kept it fun.
That's what it is, man. I mean, I have a regular job that I go to during the week, and although I'm serious there also, I like to have fun at work too. And when you come to ride a motorcycle, I don't like to stress people out, because motorcycling is to relieve stress, not to add stress. So that's the thing. Be relaxed and have fun, because man, this is if you go out and ride for an hour, that's your hour of your own time where you forget about every other thing in your life. Just thinking about your safety and getting back home. When you get home, you worry about your problems then. Get on the motorcycle, you forget about it. That's one thing I like about riding. For just that 30 minutes or however long you're riding, you forget about everything else.